Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while. If you want to know about why I've been gone, then I'll put a link, or not a link, I'll put a description in the description box and talk about it. But let's not waste no time. This is the 2025 reading. We have piles 1, 2, 3, 4 because we have 4 quarters in a year, 4 seasons in a year, so I thought it would be appropriate. I used my main cards that I usually use to get a general consensus, and then every month we're just going to start unpacking the details for whatever pile you pick, and then everything will come together. As far as other readings, the weekly stuff or the pick a piles that I do that won't be on here will be on Patreon and posted in little snippets on social media. So if you want to keep up with that, I'll put all my socials in the description box as well. And yeah, you'll know where to find me and how to find me. So let's get started. Hey, pile 1. So let's get started and see what your cards are. So pile 1, y'all coming in real hot right now. Like, y'all want to be number 1. Y'all understand what you want to do. So you trying to do your big one, and I get that, but this card concerns me. So this Page of Pentacles reversed in tarot astrology, that is Capricorn energy. So a lot of y'all are going to be very impatient. Now, I get it. You have things you want to do. You got stuff. You have desires. You have all this stuff. You're real passionate. You know you want to get stuff done. I get that. Great. That's fine. But you need to slow down, because this caution card can mean a multitude of things. You can either, one, get yourself hurt, or, end up messing up opportunities for yourself because you're trying to move so fast. Nothing is going anywhere. It's better to have consistent efforts over a course of days than trying to get everything done like every success happens overnight, and it doesn't. You know that. I know that. With the fire energy, I wouldn't even say that fire signs are attuned to this the most. This can come from anybody because we all have fire in the chart, even if the houses are empty. So I'm not that type of reader. But I will say that learning to utilize the fire in your chart and knowing how to pace yourself is going to be important. Maybe lean on some of the more Leo energy, which is what I consider the consistent sign, because the sun never retrogrades. It moves forward every single time. And you'll even notice with Mars tends to sometimes pass the sun or just move really fast, but eventually it's going to have to retrograde. It's going to have to double back. So make sure and keep that energy in mind, that when you're doing something and you're trying to rush, all the flaws and all the things that you're missing, you're going to have to take time to go back. And what you don't want to do is, Capricorn is Saturn and time. You don't want to have to spend that backlog working on things that you could have been through with if you just had been patient. You'd rather use that time to work on things that come up along the way. Now, this isn't to say that some of your stuff from the past may not come up. There might be some stuff that are causing problems from your past because there's some things you haven't cleared up. That's human. That's common. It's not a thing where you'll never have to go back and deal with some things. But make sure that you're very intentional with your movements now, so you're less likely to deal with a lot of backlog based on silly stuff, silly mistakes. Because you could be making silly mistakes during this time too. You may be taking too much time to do this and do that, and you're moving real mindless. You need to be very mindful. Again, put your energy into consistent efforts. You'll notice you'll save a lot of time. You'll notice you'll save a lot of energy too. Because if you're too busy trying to rush through stuff and making more mistakes, you're going to be putting a lot of energy into mistakes. Once you start putting energy into mistakes, you're going to get burnt out. You're going to get tired. You're going to be more than likely to give up. This might be the give up group. This is the one that got the gym goals and all the goals in January, and you're already starting to fall off on your goals. This is why. Because you in your mind, you already are looking at December. Babes, we're in January. I'm going to need you to tone it down a little bit. Take some time to yourself and pace through it. December is not even here yet, and you're already trying to have December outlook and December outcomes. No, you need to relax. It's just January. Do what you can during January, and for the rest of the year, keep that same energy. December will come. Do not be that person in December like, oh, I rushed through this and then I gave up because one hurdle came in. That hurdle came in because some of y'all are not very prepared either. A lot of y'all don't have a concrete plan. You have this passion, but you're also not looking at what the downsides could be. So now we're kind of getting into the Jupiter energy where you know and you have all these ideas and how you want to go about it, but you're not accounting for, this might go wrong later. How can I prevent that? Preventative measures, caution is going to come in too. These cautionaries and these fundamentals and all the boring stuff that you're thinking about with this goal has nothing to do with trying to get you off track. It's trying to keep you safe. So, before you do anything, learn the fundamentals, be safe. Before you do something, do not make rational or irrational decisions. Make sure they're rational. Make sure they're concise. Take your time. Go over the fundamentals. Do not rush. You will cause more problems than you want to, and you will burn yourself out so quick, and you will have those December regrets. So keep all of that in mind and have a plan. Be honest with yourself. Some of the problems that you have going on have a lot to do with your lack of preparedness and you rushing. I said this on Twitter a while back, or like a couple days ago. You rushing and you being impatient has nothing to do with everybody else. If it's not an emergency, it's not everybody else's problem that you're in a rush because you're behind. You need to pace yourself and you need to be efficient and effective at certain moments. And you need to prepare beforehand what can go wrong so you have a backup plan on how you want to attack this later. Again, you're not the only one that has desires, passions, things you want to do. Some people are fake passionate. I get it, blah, blah, blah. Hopefully you're not one of those people. Hopefully, you comparing yourself to everybody, not even comparing yourself to everybody else, but like, oh, nobody's as passionate as me. Hopefully you are true in that respect. Because if so, you're going to act accordingly. You're going to listen to what I have to say. And you're going to be like, let me have a plan. What are your flaws? What are your weaknesses? Don't get easily disappointed because Jupiter energy gets easily disappointed when things don't work out. Make sure that you have a backup plan or a plan to resolve things, or some things mistakes and incidents you cannot plan for. How do you pick yourself back up? How is your resilience looking? That's what it is you need to work on. After that, you'll carry on just fine and you will be fine. Just keep what I said in mind. All is well. You need to incorporate some Capricorn energy and you need to start being aware, and not even that you have to be pessimistic. It's learning to be a little bit realistic, because sometimes we move so fast in life that we forget that problems can happen, and we always think problems mean that something isn't meant to be. No, what you have going on is very much so meant to be. You just need to build your relationship with it and know that there's going to be some ups and downs, but this is what you want. And once you work out all the pitfalls and stuff like that, things will be a lot more smooth sailing. But right now, things are going to start off slow in the beginning of the year. You might not be fun. You might not even burn out. You might just get bored because it's not moving at a pace that you want it to be, because it's not matching the energy you have. Well, since you have that energy, it should be carrying it throughout the year, because once that success falls on your lap, you better be ready to go. You better have that same energy and, oh, this was so boring, because when the success comes in, you're going to have to do a lot of work too. It's a lot of work to uphold success and keep things going. So it's fun to be desired or to have desires and be passionate about something when you have ample energy to do so. Once you get the people paying attention to you, or when the success happens, it's a lot harder to maintain the passion, because now you're going to have to do some stuff that you probably don't want to do, or learn to refine yourself, or the demand may be a lot higher. Now, in the beginning, you didn't have to worry about any of that stuff. All you had to do was output, regardless of how it looked and how it was. It's because what you wanted to do and how you felt like doing. But later in the year, when the success comes, you might be faced with deadlines, or you have to reroute, or you have to take things a lot more seriously and be a lot more meticulous. So planning and learning to do the fundamental stuff will kind of get you, I don't even know the word for this, get you in the flow and get you ingrained into a process, get you used to it. Once you get used to it, you'll be able to leverage the success a lot better, because you know something's going to come with difficulty. You'll be more willing to challenge yourself, and you'll be more willing to lock in difficulties, because it won't take your passion away, because you know getting through the difficulties makes you more successful. It makes you better, more skilled, and all this other stuff. Because at that point, your desires and your passions fueled this, and your skill is going to be the backbone to keep that passion going. As long as you keep worrying about like, oh, this is too hard and I'm gonna give up and I want to give up, then you'll never get to where you want to be anyway. Everything's gonna come with some difficulty. I don't care how passionate you are, as long as you're not sustaining it. Were you really passionate in the first place, would be my biggest question. So keep all I said in mind. You have something good going for you, but make sure it's not just words and it's not just actions, but that it's a long-term plan in the long run. Once you get the long-term plans and you're willing to leverage that energy that you have, you'll all be smooth sailing. So that's it for pile 1, and now I'm going to be on to pile 2. All right, pile 2, you're up next. So for y'all, like, I don't know, like there is some energy, I wouldn't say like necessarily abuse, but maybe you're going through it with somebody, or you have a lot going on, and this is starting to fall into lines of what is going on. A lot of y'all are going to have to, you're the complete, not even the complete opposite of the first pile, but in some ways you have what the pile 1 lacks, which is you have the strength, you have the drive, but you're lacking what pile 1 has, which is the movement aspect. So a lot of y'all have built this resilience up because you've been through something, or you just went through a lot of things last year. So you're understanding, you're very wise. You know when to not speak, or for some of y'all, you may have been told not to speak because you thought maybe your words maybe have gotten you in trouble, or they've had consequences because nobody let you have a voice, and they didn't let you have a voice because that's their way of having power of you, which was taking your voice away. So now the problem is knowing when to make a move. And sometimes movements come with verbs. You have to use your words in order to figure out where it is you do want to go. So I know a lot of y'all have this resilience within you, but I feel like some of y'all are very stuck in survival mode. And I'm seeing a lot of green here. So a lot of y'all, I just feel like it's you have a lot of love within your heart. You have a lot of good intentions when you make moves. And a lot of y'all don't allow your past to become a factor into how you move. However, in the same token, you're still allowing, or you're still having, not even allowing, let me be intentional here, you're having the situation impact how you move. And you may not think so because you're like, okay, I'm kind of like moving and I'm doing what I got to do, but you're stuck in survival mode. And sometimes being stuck in survival mode takes you away from your goals. Trust me, I've been there. I've been through a lot, and a lot of the times whenever I had these situations where I was trying to make moves and do certain things, I was stuck in the cycle of having to get this done and having to do this other stuff, and I did not prioritize what I had going on. Now, was it an inherent flaw? No. But it's one of those things where you will never get to your goals if you always allow other facets of life to impede on it. Some of y'all are going to have to take that strength and move it and transfer it into also making time for the things you want to do. And that is maybe even just doing a little bit of something. I wouldn't even force you, just because this Ace of Wands here, I'm not even going to say you have to move right now and you have to do this, you have to do that, or you have to do a lot. Just start pacing yourself a little bit. Just start pacing yourself a little bit. And this movement cards reminds me of the 8 of Wands in tarot, where you're going to be having a lot of opportunities come at you. You may even, I feel like some of y'all be like, I don't deserve it. I need to work a lot harder to get there. You don't need to deserve to work harder to get to a goal. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you have an opportunity at your hands, that's giving you time to work on something that you would have been working on by yourself and probably struggling a lot more. You've been given this opportunity. You're going to be you're going to have people around you that are going to help you with a lot that you have going on, and see your potential. So allow that person to guide you. Allow these people around you to kind of guide you. Now, be careful of losing your autonomy. I feel like some of y'all have already lost your autonomy with a last year past situation. Make sure that when people are guiding you, that you are speaking, because if you're not having a say so in how somebody guides you, they're going to guide you and mold you into the person they think you need to be. And it may be unintentional. They have to get you to a goalpost. But if you that's why you need to open up your mouth. You need to talk. You need to open your mouth, you need to speak, and you need to tell them what it is you want. Even if you feel like they may not be able to do it, that'll be for something for you to do then. But you'll never know if you don't open your mouth and you don't speak. So, like I said, make sure that you're taking account and making the moves, putting yourself out there a little bit. If you do see an opportunity, find a way to wiggle into it. Walk up to it. Be like, hey, I'm here. That's all you got to do. You don't have to do too much. You don't have to make this a thing where I have to get to this destination right now or I won't make it. You are going to get to where you need to be. You don't have to do a lot to have it though. Because I feel like some of y'all are very hesitant on getting to a goal because you feel like it's an all or nothing experience. No, you'll get to the all when you stop thinking that you're nothing. You have to move through it. You'll get to the all when you stop thinking you're nothing. You just have to move through it. I'm on my Dr. Umar right now. But like I said, you just have to move. You have to you take everything step by step. Maybe you'll be a little shy the next day and you were confident yesterday. Breathe through it. Kind of do some exposure therapy a little bit and be like, okay, I'm going to put myself out there the day after. Maybe today I need to kind of formulate the plan. Maybe I want to practice. Maybe practice in the mirror. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Get some confidence. Build some confidence. Be silly. I always tell people, be silly at home. Be a little silly at home. You can make all your mistakes at home. Who's watching you? God may be watching you, but God ain't judging you. Your ancestors may be watching you, but your ancestors ain't judging you. They may even help you. You may even click in an idea. Maybe you'll notice how your face looks when you're interacting with somebody. If you have a friend, go on FaceTime. They may be able to assess how your face looks when you do a certain thing. And I feel like some of y'all are kind of out of touch with the social aspect, that it's hard for you to make moves because you're afraid of looking a fool of yourself. Again, you have the strength there. I do think you have the potential and you do so, but it's just something about you taking the first step that kind of worries you. And I feel like sometimes maybe your plans haven't been the most concise. Maybe they've been very minimal to a point where you don't really make any leads, or you don't have anything that develops after that. And I think that's just because you are not audacious enough to kind of take it a step further or feel like it's something bigger. There is something bigger. You just have to figure out what that thing is. So again, all the experiences that you've went through have prepared you for this moment, but now this is your time to speak. Strength, the Lion card in tarot, it's your time to roar, to let it out, to let us know. Show us who you are. Even if you make mistakes along the way, do not reference the past where somebody has made you feel bad and feel like you shouldn't continue forward because you made a mistake. That's how you grow. And you're going to have people that are like, oh, blah, 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 blah. They will never let you live it down. Oh my gosh. People will never let you live certain mistakes down, or certain things you did, no matter how petty. They'll just never let you live it down. So what? Move on. These are just those people that never had their stuff exposed yet, or they've never been called out for doing certain things where, they never made good on their goals, or, they think they're the best, but they don't put out their art. You know what I'm saying? You got people who are so heavy on criticizing you, but their art may be trash. That's probably why they're not putting out. And they know it's trash, so they're gonna trash on you because you're putting in effort. You know what I'm saying? So they'll never let you down making certain mistakes, or having certain things that are, making bad art, or making things that are rudimentary. It's better than not putting yourself out there and trying to wait for a perfect time. There is no perfect time. There's only your time to make whatever it is you want to do. If you do want to wait a little bit for certain things to develop, I think that's reasonable as well. But don't let it get to a point where you're holding off on a lot of stuff because you are scared. And I feel like a lot of things more so come from fear, or somebody telling you or seeing your stuff behind the scenes and being like, oh, you're never going to make it, or that's not good. It's going to take you a while till you get to this point. Well, somebody's going to like it. There's an audience for everybody. Maybe people need to see the progress. Maybe people need to see the glow up. Maybe you need to sit down and kind of work behind the scenes, take an internship, or again, like I said, be peer reviewed or become a part of an opportunity that will help you grow so you can be ready for the world. There's so many ways that it can be sliced, but don't let your past be the bearing of your present and in your future. Let it be something that you learn from and that you grow from in the future. It's possible. So that's all I gotta say for pile 2. I'm gonna move on to pile 3. Hello, pile 3. Here's your cards. So for y'all, I saw like gambling. Like, I think a lot of y'all are taking a risk. And I think, some of y'all just don't care. And I don't even see it as a bad thing. I mean, you're like, I've calculated. Okay, this is the funny thing. So you're not like pile 1 that's like rushing, right? Oop. You're not like pile 1 that's rushing. You're not like pile 2 that's kind of like, I don't know. You're like, I don't know. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. And you're just here. A lot of y'all are you're in the moment. You're just vibing. You're just like, okay, I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm going to take care of my business. If it don't work, I don't care. I'm just going to like try something else. You're out of this place where you're indecisive. You're in a place where you're like, I know exactly what I'm doing. And if I don't know exactly what I'm doing, then I don't know exactly what I'm doing. You're locked in. I don't even think a lot of y'all have an inherent goal in mind. And if you do, you just want that accomplished. You don't really care to put words to what that is. All you care about is making sure that it is met through your actions more so than your words and what the plans can be. Now, a little bit of criticism. I will say that you should be jotting down just a little bit of what you're doing and being intentional about it, just to make sure you're not floating. Like, I understand that you don't care. So since you don't care that much, you writing it down should be a non-issue, because you'll be more willing right now to take on the feedback and the constructive criticism now than you would have at any other time, because you're just trying to grow. You're trying to feed something. You're trying to grow your talents and your strengths. And I think that's a good thing. I just think for some of y'all don't get caught up in the thing where like, I'm just here, I'm just present, I'm just doing. Still have a little bit of intention. Again, I don't see anything wrong, but I just think that some of y'all may have so much going on that you're not really thinking of a plan. You're just hoping it comes together. A little bit of effort and intention will go a long way. I also think that last year you may have been through a lot to the point where you're kind of like, I just don't care. Because it just seems like no matter what you do or what you have going on, it's just always something that just gets in the way. So you're just moving how you move, and you know that with time, things will just come together. Because maybe last year you spent a lot of time worrying about how things were going to go, to the point where a lot of time passed by where you could have been doing something, but you spent more time worrying about it or concerned about how the output was, that you did a lot less than what you could have. So a lot of y'all are just like, I'm just going to do it. If it fails, it fails. If it's mediocre, it's mediocre. You're going to try something until you kind of get an understanding of what it is you're doing. But for, like I said, that time being, just jot it down, make note of it, and you'll kind of start to see, oh, I could kind of see where here I kind of understand why last year this didn't really work out. It wasn't because maybe something I did wrong, but maybe it was because like this detail could have been added. Because now you're at a point where, again, where you're careless, quote unquote, you're going to start to think more about what it is you want to do, how you want to go about it, and things like that. So you'll be more detailed. You'll kind of see why things fell flat, and you'll kind of see where the roadblocks come in, where your resilience starts to falter a little bit, or where your resolve starts to falter. Because again, now you're just trying to see how the work in progress is going to come together to create something successful for yourself. So once that starts happening, again, you'll be like, oh, because you don't want to go to both extremes where you gave up last year and then this year you're just not gonna care, because you do care about something. You're at that point where you finally want to get something out, you want to get something going and get the ball rolling. So like I said, take note of it. You'll start to see, oh, if I did this last year, I would be probably here, but I'm here now. So let me utilize this strength a lot more. Let me utilize this talent a lot more. Oh, last year this didn't work out, and I noticed that I had this reaction to it. I don't think that was the best reaction I could have, so let me work on it this year. So you're in that work in progress era where you just don't care if you did something right, you did something wrong. You're just willing to fix it right now. So you're starting from basics and you're working your way up. And I'm really proud of you. I don't think that's a bad energy to have for the Mars year, because that just lets me know that you're going to be moving, you're going to be working on things. If things don't work, you'll figure out how to fix it. Maybe some things that you had in mind last year of how it was going to go, maybe that wasn't the best plan. Maybe this is your time to tweak it a lot better. So you could just take all that stuff from last year and kind of just come up with something better for yourself and be a lot more accountable for it, because now you're in a neutral space where neutrality, you don't really have a goal or a plan in mind. But again, like I said, this will be your time to start developing the plan, or at least having something in mind. So when the success comes, you're intentional with how you handle the success instead of being careless. Because if you're quote unquote careless about it right now, you might mishandle an opportunity, or you might pick up the wrong opportunity because you're so heavy on doing something and being a part of something that is successful. Again, intentions are everything. Not everything should be a yes, and not every door is for you to open. Sometimes that person wants you to open a door because you have a well-rounded sort of potential in your life. So they think, you could utilize this, but is this something that you want? You're not indecisive, but it seems like you're open to a lot of stuff. And is that something you really want to invest time in? Can you be investing in something better? Maybe there's some baseline stuff you wanted to do last year, but you're kind of in this thing where, I wouldn't even say imposter syndrome, but you're so worried about if it does well or if it fails or not, that you're trying to put yourself in a place of neutrality so you don't easily get disappointed. Okay, so yeah, we're unlocking some of the problem. You're in that place where you're trying to be grabbing onto anything, because at least if you grab something successful, you can't say you failed. You can't be scared of failure in this type of way. It's not even, you can have some sort of detachment to something if it doesn't work out, but don't avoid the problem. You get what I'm saying? Because then you avoiding the problem is not making you accountable for last year. You're just kind of using it as a mask to be nonchalant about something. Because hey, if I'm not nonchalant about it, I can't get my feelings hurt. Life is going to come with some things that are going to hurt your feelings. So that's also something you need to truly let go of, is your expectations on the goal that you want. Not no expectations and I'm just going to take on any opportunity because it's available. You're going to mess yourself up in the long run. Then honestly, the stuff you're avoiding, and then over the years, it's going to hit you like a train, and then you're going to be like, wow, so that's where the gambling is coming in. You're just doing, that's where my gambling feeling with these cards came in when I was shuffling. That's where it came from. A lot of y'all are just doing stuff. You need to, again, gambling is fun. It's a rush. It's a high until you're in debt. And then you can't even play no more. So you got to know when to hold and when to fold. So again, just don't be so neutral in something that you forget that you do have goals. Don't act all fake nonchalant, because again, you're going to get your feelings hurt later when you realize, oh, this is something I didn't want to do, but because it was money or it was an opportunity, I just felt like I needed to take it because that I thought that was going to make me happy, because at least I'm successful in something. No, you have to care about something that you want and be willing to put those feelings into it, and be nonchalant with more so of the outcome, because you know that you can eventually have that success. It might just take a little more time, Or, maybe the success will come in when you focus on your talents, and when you focus on growing it a lot more, instead of thinking, oh, the success may not feel a lot fulfilling for you. That success may not feel good. It may feel like, this wasn't what I hoped it was, but it was something you wanted. So that just means you just got to make it more fun. And I feel like some of y'all are just not really satisfied as a whole. So it just, now you're in a place where you don't care about something. But I just think you just need to be more inspired by life and what your goals are, and kind of flipping it on its head for you to enjoy it again, and maybe enjoy the success. The success, I don't know why I can't say success right now. The success may feel like a high right now, and then after you're kind of like, okay, I'm bored. That's your time to create something else. You're always going to be unsatisfied or dissatisfied with like all the stuff you're doing. Who cares? Move it how you want to move it. Let life be a journey. And once you realize that life is a journey with your goals, you are going to get bored. I think that's human, but it's more inherent in some than others. But you'll know that, there's another opportunity, like I said, to get inspired and find something else that you can do. And you might even go through a blockage with the success. Like, okay, I don't know what to do now. Take that time off. Do some random stuff. That's your time to kind of do random stuff and go back in those notes and be like, I could do this. Oh, I remember something from way back, maybe not even last year, 2 years ago, that I could have been working on. Let's work on it now. You're never going to not find inspiration somewhere. You just have to look for it and not be so nonchalant and in limbo about your own life, because this is your life to control. Don't be in a place where you were so indecisive that you didn't know what to do, that you don't care about what you do. Care about something. There's a medium between this. So, yeah. I'm not going to elaborate too much because I feel like I'm getting a little too wordy about this. I feel like y'all get it. If you don't, then oh well. Side ping me about it. I don't know. Buy a service. I don't know. Anyway, going to Power 4. Love y'all. Last but definitely not least, Power 4. So with this reading, I thought about Cuff It. I don't know if it was the 4 in the Beyonce, but I was just like, I feel like falling in love. I was like thinking about that song, and then it's like the black lights and like I'm in the mood to fuck something up. How like this oracle card is a little bit destructive and has a lot going on. It reminds me of the churning of Soma, and like how everything was happening. It was a little bit chaotic. All the fish was, it was just like y'all are cooking up something good, and it's like, bet you'll elevate, bet you'll meet God. Like this illumination part. I feel like a lot of stuff for y'all is coming together, and you're able to understand what it is you need to do. And I feel like you're different from Pile 3, where like you care and you understand the importance behind what it is you're doing, and you're going to see to that. So you're the one opposite to Pile 3, where you're going to write things down. You're going to write things down. You're going to celebrate your successes and your wins because you know you deserve it. You're standing 10 toes down in the success portal. You're okay with putting yourself out there. Like, I just feel like all the flaws from 1, 2, and 3, quote unquote, come into this portion where you understand you're a flawed being. And you understand that you're not perfect, but you're going to account for the flawed part of you. You're going to account for the successful part of you, and you're going to make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be like nonchalant about your wins or your fails. You're going to celebrate your successes, and anything you're failing at, you're going to continue to keep a level head about it and work on it, because you understand this life as a whole context. You're very intuitive and intentional about it as well. You just have a nature about you that understands the lunar aspect, which is the ebb and flow of life. And you understand, it's like this Cancerian energy, like this 3, the cups. You know what I'm saying? Like, you understand the full context of what it means to go through stuff, pick yourself back up, and possibly go through stuff right after that. And you jotting down and making note of that journaling your emotions, journaling your dreams are going to be very, very important right now, because that's going to allow you to navigate 2025, and it's going to let you understand the key context that you already knew, but you can at least keep track of the pattern so you can create a ritual or a routine that best works for you to keep the success going and to keep everything flowing. You know how to handle turmoil. You know how to handle things because you know there's light at the end of the tunnel. You know, when you're in spaces where, I wouldn't even say they're bad spaces, but spaces where you're a little bit confused, you know that you will be given clarity on a situation in due time, as long as you're honest about your situation, you're honest about your flaws, you're honest about maybe what's holding you back that's not in your control. You learn how to navigate it, and you allow yourself, or not even allow yourself, you maintain your accountability for how you move forward with all the stuff in mind. So I think that's a good thing. What can I point out? Maybe like the fuck something up, but I don't think the fuck something up is bad. I think a lot of y'all, if you do make a mistake or you go all out, you know the consequences behind what you're gonna do. You don't care. You just gonna do what it do. And if it comes with something at the end, you're aware of it. You just don't care. And that could be a good or bad thing in a way, because I feel like sometimes, you know, there could have been a better way. And I don't always think mindfulness of something that you're going to do always means that it's going to be the best thing. Because it reminds me of like those people that be like, oh, well, I know I fucked up, or I know I did this wrong, but at least I knew I did it. And it's kind of like, dang, so you couldn't think of something better to do? So like, don't be somebody that's so aware that you're willing to like mess something up because you were like aware of it. If there was a better way to do something, be more aware of the doing something better. And if you're gonna like put that energy into like going off for somebody, make sure like there's a level of control that you use. Because I feel like sometimes you're gonna be too immersed in a situation that you don't have control over yourself, and you may say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing that could have been handled better and convey the same effect. It's kind of like that lunar thing where a lot of y'all don't, lunar energy as a whole, you may not be lunar, I don't care. Like I said, I'm not that type of reader. You may be that somebody, or right now in this context, where you maintain your cool, so you're like, I'm gonna just give myself this moment to just go off and blank out because I feel like I deserve it. And it's kind of like, yeah, you may be able to, but like, do you really want to deal with the consequences later, even though you felt vindicated? Make sure if you feel vindicated in something, that is like, I mean, so worth it. There's no amount of high road that you can take that'll make that feel more satisfying than going off or doing whatever. Or make sure that you're going off creates such a break that you create a door for yourself because you went off. You know what I'm saying? Be real intentional behind it. But like I said, keep making note of the good stuff. Make note of your pros and your cons. And maybe with stuff like that, if you do want to go off, think of the better ways and the options. Jot that down. If the other options just don't seem good, again, make that crack and that break and that snap so good that you just make a new door for yourself. But, yep, like I said, not going to elaborate. Yeah. Thank you, Power 4. You know what, Power 4? I did think of something. So I had this dream where like the moon blew up and then the sky turned red, and everybody thought they had to like make a whole bunch of moves in order like to maintain the velocity. Velocity. I'm gonna just use a funny word. Like to maintain the earth, because you know, like, I don't know if y'all knew like the science behind like what happens if the moon went away, like how turbulent everything would be. I feel like a lot of y'all are like seeing red. Y'all got like this deep anger in you where you are like very intentional. So like you will intentionally go all the way on something. Maintain your temper just a little bit and keep yourself busy. I think keeping yourself busy will help, and remember what your goals are. Like I said, you have a lot going for you, and you understand the full context of people's intentions and behind what they do. A lot of people are snarky, they're not authentic. You have to move in authenticity in your own way, but also keep a level head, because there's people that are going to be following in your footsteps, that want to know the better ways of doing stuff. And as long as you're intentional and you keep a level head about things, you'll be able to navigate the worst situations. Whereas like dealing with failure or somebody trying to like fuck you over, you'll be able to kind of deal with those situations with a lot more grace. And you could take that anger and alchemize it into something that is more fruitful and productive, and will get you the all the results and then some that you want. You just have to know how to handle situations. Not every situation requires that level of anger or whatever the case may be. So like I said, take your time, calm the red down a little bit. Just, like I said, keep everything else I said in mind though. But yeah, that was it. Last note.